Hey ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. As always, it is Nick here, back with your daily crypto news and analysis. And today we have a lot to go over, so I do hope everybody's having a beautiful day or a beautiful night wherever you guys are out there in the world. Sit down, relax, and let's dive on in. So as we look at altcoins, we have been waiting for alt season to officially begin. Now, if we look at the 24-hour span, yes, Bitcoin is bouncing back, but also check out altcoins. They are starting to have some pretty big breakouts across the board. Last 7 days, we see double-digit figures across the board, 40%, 25%, 30%. Some pretty big gains. Now, even if we go to the top gainers and losers in the top 500, we can see this across the board in the last 24-hour span. And even if we look at the last 7 days, there has been some great movement. And this is outside of just meme coins as well. There's been a lot of great utility projects and big projects, which is a very good sign that altcoins are starting to gain momentum against Bitcoin. Now, we're going to address that. We're going to talk about that. But I do want to start off this video with a few charts. So, number one, I made a post the other day. This is actually yesterday, where I quoted Mikey Bull over on X, and I said there are signs across the board that alt season is getting closer and closer. It can definitely seem like a broken record at times when we keep hearing about how alt season is coming. The truth is that the pressure is building and we are just waiting for it to erupt. I've said it time and time again that this point in the market is easy, but what comes next is you needing to have conviction to hit the sell button. That is the hard part for the majority, but taking profits is crucial. Harvesting season is coming and it's getting close each and every day. Don't panic, don't act impulsively, and stay focused on the goal, which is to make money and take profits. Now over here, we have the chart from Mikey Bull, and we have altcoins market cap printing the footsteps of alt season 2020 into 2021, and yet not many are seeing this. Not many are mentally prepared for what is coming. And here we have the overall setup from not only the RSI point of view, but also to the actual chart itself. We have that accumulation phase, followed by the first big breakup, followed by the squeeze right before we go absolutely parabolic. Now, why is most people not prepared for this? Well, because we've been hearing these idiotic narratives being spread around saying like, oh, alt season is not happening. Altcoins are not going to pump against Bitcoin. It's all about Bitcoin now because BlackRock and all these big players have an ETF. There's no way that money's going to flow from Bitcoin into altcoins. Like, it's so ridiculous what we have like we always hear these like nonsensical narratives come up every single cycle. Back in 2020 to 2021, what we got caught in was this idea that, oh, institutions are here now. There's no way we're going to pull back. We're going to go crazy. 100K for Bitcoin. Remember, 100K was the big target for Bitcoin that everyone was supposed to wait on. And guess what ended up happening? We never hit 100K and we had a bear market next. So as we look at it this cycle, not much has changed, except the narrative is that altcoins are not going to pump. We're not going to get alt season, which is nonsense. Now, let's also talk about the big thing to focus on, which is Bitcoin dominance with Bitcoin pairs. I said I keep saying focus on one thing, and that is the Bitcoin pair. It's one of the most important things to watch right now as altcoins begin to gain momentum. Alt season has been brewing for a while. It's only a matter of time before we see altcoins go parabolic versus Bitcoin. Now, this post is actually from Bobby A, and we have all I will say is look at what many altcoins are doing against their Bitcoin pairs. Look at coins like XRP, Atom, and HBAR, and tell me that a massive alt season isn't brewing for 2024. Many are at deep value areas that have not been seen in years. One of the biggest tricks the market loves to play on participants is convincing them that something they expect will never occur, and that is altcoins, right? Going crazy. That's alt season. Everyone is now essentially convinced that it's not going to happen. Most sell or don't enter, and then boom, everything explodes. Only time in financial markets can teach this lesson, you'll see. And, you know, it's funny because I was just kind of having this conversation the other day with an individual that I know, and the conversation was pretty much like, you know, everyone is always giving up right at that last part, right before success hits. A lot of people give up right before that success hits, and it's very easy to give up. It's hard to see past all of the negativity, all the FUD, all the nonsense, and really see what's happening. And right now, everyone out there is convinced that Altseason's not going to happen, and a very small percentage of people in this market are now prepared for an Altseason. If we go and look at Bitcoin, the number one thing that everyone has been focused on, and I've even talked about it, is the scenario of us continuing to break down, right? Are we going to come back down to these demand zones and just continue this, you know, chop like this? It's possible. That is a possibility, but I'm not expecting it. In fact, what I'm actually expecting from here is us breaking out of this bearish structure. And what is that bearish structure? Well, it's the idea of these lower highs that we've been constantly making. We've been making consistent lower highs. And what comes next, in my opinion, considering the fact that we have been ranging in this demand zone, we've been holding this initial demand zone, I'm expecting something very similar back here in the beginning of March, where we ended up breaking over that 67K level, and we finally went to that 74K level almost. So right now we're kind of doing this. I'm expecting something like this, where we tap up here, we might range a little bit, and then we might sell off, right, back into a nice support zone, hold a higher low, and then we go even crazier, and that's when we will officially make a new all-time high on this chart, and that's when we really kind of go on to the wave 5 run. So we're going to chop a little bit more. I wouldn't be surprised if we do that, but beyond that, the thing to focus on during that time is not so much what Bitcoin is doing, but what Bitcoin dominance is doing. And we've been watching this closely, right? The structure here is very clear. We're either going to get a big move to the upside of possibly 58 to 60%, and then sell off, right? Because what will end up happening is we'll break up here, we'll, tap the 60% level possibly, or just kind of range within this area up here, and then we will get that big sell off, aka alt season officially beginning. Or we'll probably break down from here. Either one, we're still going to head into alt season. Alt season is coming, regardless of what anyone is telling you out there. But beyond Bitcoin dominance, big shout out to Crypto Caesar 1 for this. He posted this about roughly 5 days ago. He said Bitcoin dominance is one of the best metrics when considering altcoin seasons. Altcoins haven't even started their engines yet. Alt season is loading, and yes, I could not agree more. I've always said it, that altcoins have barely even made their big moves yet. And this is the level that he's looking at, which is roughly about 57 to 58%. Guys, going back to the chart over here, I'm looking at like 58 to 60%. It's a little bit higher. But regardless, we're still watching for a major rejection somewhere up within this range, which I'm totally fine with. And then from there, we really kind of look at that 36% to almost like 40% level being tapped yet again, aka that death zone. And that's what we are watching for. Now, beyond this, I have been following the altcoin chart, aka the total 3. Now, this chart is very simple. We're still brewing here. We're still making lower highs. And the big question is, are we going to hold this higher low structure that we've been holding so far since going back to April 13th? If that is the case, we might get one more stab at about roughly like $610 billion or so. In fact, I wouldn't write off the idea of us still holding this support zone. So we might actually sell off, a little bit further in time over here into like the end of May. And this will be our last major back test of the $615 billion level. And it would essentially look like something like this, where we're just kind of range. We get that major stab, and then we bounce back, we range here, and then we go parabolic. And guess what that would align with? That would actually align with Bitcoin itself having, a range here, breaking to the upside and then selling off. And this is like where we, sorry, I went a little bit too low in terms of that sell off. This is where we really kind of look for this range here, and then we go crazy. And that will align with altcoins pretty much doing this chop until we get that big break to the upside. While we do that big break to the upside, I'm expecting Bitcoin itself to start making a much larger expansion in the market above 74K. And while Bitcoin is doing that, I'm also expecting Bitcoin DUMs to officially top out and Bitcoin go higher while Bitcoin DUMs is breaking down, aka leading altcoins to the promised land. Now, beyond this, TechDev actually posted a great chart, and this is actually the altcoin market excluding the top 10. And we have altcoins by monthly MACD cross with stock RSI breaking 70 after max compression. Wonder what comes next. And here we have a chart going all the way back to 2020 into 2021 when the same exact pattern repeated itself fully. And that's when we had that max compression right before the big expansion to the upside. This is where altcoins went from pretty much sub $100 billion to almost $500 billion itself. So there's a lot of money on the table right now that a lot of people are leaving because they're expecting the entire market to not have anything happen to altcoins and Bitcoin to be the only big mover. Like, it's ridiculous. But beyond this, right, even if we look at the total is ready. And something that I've been watching for is possibly us maintaining this level here, which we just recently, almost tapped perfectly, or possibly making another low on the chart, which would completely take out any sentiment of us being bullish, because we would lose that structure that we've been holding since roughly May 1st. And this would essentially allow us to backtest possibly 2 trillion or a little bit higher. But if we were to do that, right, where we backtest this trend line down here and then we build like that, that will basically kill sentiment. It will kill the market structure in terms of like everyone thinking like, all right, that's it, we're ready to go right now. That will kill that entire sentiment. But I'm also looking at the possibility of us just maintaining a little bit of nice structure here above like $2.2 trillion. It would also allow for us to have this kind of inverse head and shoulders where we kind of do something like that, and we just kind of brew here before a big move to the upside, which would take us to retesting that upper trend line and possibly making a higher high on the chart, which would be above almost $2.7 trillion going all the way back to March. This will also essentially be our move to a new all-time high on this chart as well. And we would actually be breaking well over $3 trillion on that next big move. But we are probably going to chop a little bit and brew a little bit. Now, what is going to really allow for this market to wake up in a very large way? Well, it's liquidity. Big shout out to Raul Paul for this. We have posted without comment. And here is the weekly global liquidity index. And this is something that I've been following for a while. This is squeezing just like we did back in 2017, 2018, all the way in to 2020. This is going to lead to a massive influx of global liquidity improving. And this is something that I've been telling you guys about for a while. Even this chart, I told you guys, focus on liquidity. This is the M2 money supply. It has flipped positive. The last time that this was really kind of starting in this type of positive way was back into 2017, 2018, leading into 2020 and 2021. This is a big deal because now we are starting to see liquidity increasing, which is only going to push the markets even higher. Also over here, we have, I'll add this too, and this is from Raul Paul, and we have, remember, Fed net liquidity, according to the Everything Code, is just a function of government debt to GDP, which is rising, i.e. liquidity debases the currency to fund the debts. And here we have Fed net liquidity. You can see exactly what's happening here from 2020 into where we are at now. And also here we have, and debt is just a function of demographics. And here you have the US labor force participation rate. So as we really look at things, it seems as though liquidity is about to wake up in a very, very large way. And it seems as though the Fed is going to be the big ones to really kind of pump these markets to new all-time highs. The entire market is just brewing. And I know that a lot of people are getting extremely impatient right now. A lot of people are losing any sort of hope and faith that they have that alt season's going to happen again. But guys, guess what? It's all there on the charts. The charts are telling you that alt season is coming. anyone out there that is saying, oh, there's no way that altcoins are going to make a new all-time high, there's no way that altcoins are about to have a big breakout, guys, it's already happening. Look at some of the gains that these altcoins are having today and in the last 7 days. Not only are they breaking out from like lower structures, which is easy for them to make gains, like for example, Render is a perfect example of this. If we look at the 1 month, this thing did have a major sell-off back into major demand zones. But regardless, it still shows you that altcoins right now are outperforming Bitcoin in a significant way. And a lot of them, the reason for this is because of their Bitcoin pairs. Just for an example, I'll grab HBAR Bitcoin. This is what this chart looks like. It has been gaining momentum since going all the way back here on the daily to April 13th. This is what the weekly chart looks like. It's getting ready to have a much larger expansion against Bitcoin on this chart. A lot of altcoins are set up like this. Even XRP Bitcoin, I've been telling you guys about for a very long time because this thing is in absolute oversold levels. It is ready to have a significant bounce against the market while everyone is extremely bearish on XRP. They don't care about XRP, and that's the best time to be focused on a lot of these altcoins. And a lot of them are like that. I mean, I know that Bobby did mention Atom. Yeah, there's a lot of Bitcoin pairs that are extremely bottomed out, ready for a big move to the upside. And that's why we are starting to see a lot of these altcoins breaking out in a large way. Here's the Render Bitcoin pair. This thing has been in pretty much a bull run for a while now, and it continues to gain a ton of momentum versus Bitcoin. So you want to focus on the Bitcoin pairs for all of these altcoins, especially now when we are starting to see them gaining momentum versus Bitcoin. And this is only going to continue to have them have a much larger breakout. Again, it's only a matter of time. So with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, definitely leave a like, subscribe, turn notifications on because more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord in the description below. And with that being said, guys, this has been Nick. Thanks for watching. Peace out.